Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Alberto Cortez, CEO of Mama's Kitchen, and it is my honor to welcome you tonight to the celebration of our 29th annual Tree of Life ceremony in honor of World AIDS Day. While the current public health crisis prevents us from gathering in person, it certainly will not deter us from coming together virtually and in spirit to acknowledge and celebrate this important day. In 1988, the United Nations declared December 1st as World AIDS Day. Every year since then, this special day has been observed to raise further awareness in local communities and across the world about the state of the HIV pandemic, about the critical steps necessary to halt its spread, and to support those affected. It is also a time to remember those who have lost their lives to AIDS and to honor and uplift the friends and loved ones who are living with the disease today. The theme of this year's World AIDS Day is global solidarity and shared responsibility. At a time when the world is battling the COVID-19 pandemic, the importance of solidarity and shared responsibility cannot be overstated. The COVID-19 pandemic reminds us once again that we cannot overcome a challenge until we band together. No community is safe until we all are safe. Every one of you who has joined us this evening brings hope that true global solidarity can be achieved one day. I want to express our gratitude to San Diego Pride and the San Diego HIV Planning Group for supporting this evening's event, a beautiful example of solidarity. For nearly 3 decades, we have gathered together to break down stigma, to demand attention, and to show support. And while much has been accomplished, there is still much more progress to be made. Today, our neighbors and loved ones affected by HIV are living through a second pandemic. We know that individuals with chronic and critical illnesses like HIV have a higher risk of health complications if infected with COVID-19. On top of this, we know that COVID-19 affects traditionally disenfranchised communities and individuals of color in a disproportionate manner. Now, in our 30th anniversary, Mama's Kitchen is yet again responding to a public health crisis, just like in our early days. The commemoration of World AIDS Day is an opportunity to recognize the essential role that community like ours play and continue to play in response to AIDS at the international, national, and local levels. At a time when our world is facing a convergence of challenges, a public health crisis, and increased intolerance for systemic racism, the economic disparity experienced throughout our country becomes very clear. Today, local, national, and global solidarity and mobilization become ever more essential if we are to effectively eradicate HIV and social inequities. Today, more than ever, communities are needed to ensure that HIV remains on the political agenda, that human rights are respected, protected, and fulfilled. Thank you. To begin our program this evening, please join us for an invocation by Pastor Dan Koshal of the Metropolitan Community Church.
Thank you, Alberto. It's an honor. My name is Reverend Dan Koshel from Metropolitan Community Church here in San Diego, California, and I invite you, as you're comfortable, to join your hearts with mine in prayer. God of hope, God of comfort, God of many names, thank you for the technology that brings us together to remember those we have loved who are no longer with us, lives cut short, dreams and visions not realized. And as we say their names out loud, we thank you for their beautiful smile that we can picture right now in our minds. They remain alive in our hearts forever. On this World AIDS Day, where we are experiencing great division in our country in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, we nurture seeds of hope. Our journey with HIV and AIDS has taught us much about hope and living with a pandemic. We know what it's like to live with the unknown, having more questions than answers. We know what it is to wonder about treatments and prevention and having to adjust behaviors. We know about the inequities of access to affordable medications, and we know about standing together in solidarity through a crisis. And we know about supporting each other and having that shared responsibility as together we hold on to hope. Let's continue working toward lifting barriers that hinder access to treatment, especially to the most vulnerable and marginalized among us. And we're grateful for the strength and hope that we feel in community right now and right here. And so it is. Amen.
Hi, this is Mayor Kevin Faulkner, and it's an honor to join you for the 29th annual Tree of Life ceremony to commemorate World AIDS Day. There's been tremendous progress in prevention and treatment of HIV and AIDS over the past few decades. And as we all know, the best way to win this battle is to educate people around the globe so we can prevent others from getting this disease in the first place. And here in San Diego, Mama's Kitchen has united our local community around the fight against HIV. For 3 decades, they have served and supported thousands throughout our region who live or are impacted by the virus. And during this pandemic, they've continued to step up and support those with food insecurity even more. Many of the folks attending today's virtual event have worked with my office on the creation of San Diego's first AIDS Memorial, a safe space for reflection and remembrance. While that hasn't been completed just yet, I look forward to one day commemorating World AIDS Day from the new memorial in the new Olive Street Park. And until that day, let us remember those we've lost and support those among us living with HIV/AIDS. Thank you, and stay healthy, everyone.
It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Mayor-elect Todd Gloria.
Good evening. It is an honor to greet you as our community comes together for World AIDS Day 2020 and its virtual Tree of Life ceremony. I would much rather be with you all in person at the Village Hillcrest, celebrating the incredible work of Mama's Kitchen, greeting each other personally, remembering those we have lost to HIV, and hearing the beautiful voices of our men's chorus. But unfortunately, this is how we must meet this year. Of course, our community is no strangers to pandemics. We have come together to save lives, to comfort the sick, and to support one another. And these are lessons that are being used to help us get through this current pandemic. I'd like to thank Mama's Kitchen for its incredible work over so many years to care for so many in our community. And I want to thank all of you for supporting their work. And I ask you to continue to support Mama's Kitchen, particularly during these difficult economic times when our nonprofits need our support now more than ever. As our community finds its way through these difficult times and the multiple crises that we face, the COVID-19 pandemic, our financial recession, racial injustice, climate crisis. There are so many challenges that we face, but I don't want us to lose sight of the unfinished business that we still have when it comes to defeating HIV and AIDS. And count on me to make sure that we keep our city at the forefront of research, of investment, of finding the therapies and the treatments that can improve quality of life and extend lifetimes of those who have HIV, and to support the organizations like Mama's Kitchen that do great work for all of us. So again, thank you so much for your support of Mama's Kitchen, and thank you to Mama's Kitchen. You are truly one of the things that make San Diego a great place.
Thank you, Mayor-elect Gloria. It is now my pleasure to introduce Assemblymember Lorena Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Lorena Gonzalez, and I represent the 80th Assembly District. I just want to congratulate and thank Mama's Kitchen on this World AIDS Day Tree of Life ceremony. That's a lot to get into one sentence. I thought back about the first time I heard about Mama's Kitchen and the Tree of Life and how important that was to me. I'd recently lost a good friend to the AIDS crisis. And since then, I've followed the good work of Mama's Kitchen. And as we have tackled HIV and AIDS, it has never become less important, the work that you all do in the community every day. I want to thank you for that. And during this pandemic, when people are facing even more isolation, facing even tougher times, healthcare uncertainty, the work that you do and the advocacy that you do every day helps make lives a little bit easier. Thank you, and I hope you have a great celebration.
Thank you, Assemblymember Gonzalez. It is now my pleasure to introduce Assemblymember-elect Chris Ward.
Thank you, Alberto. I'm Chris Ward, Council Member for District 3 and soon to be your State Assembly Member for District 78. I am proud of the work we have accomplished and will continue my steadfast LGBTQ+ advocacy and pledge to push for more HIV/AIDS support and resources while I'm in Sacramento. While we can't be together in person, we are all together in spirit as one community. It is that sense of community that I am so deeply grateful for and that will see us through these challenging times. Mama's Kitchen has truly stepped up to provide even more meals to those in need this year. The challenges of COVID-19 have brought out the best of this organization, its dedicated volunteers and generous supporters. Mama's Kitchen truly embodies this year's Tree of Life theme, global solidarity, shared responsibility. Now more than ever, we must work together to get through this pandemic and to continue the fight against HIV and AIDS. This isn't our community's first time fighting a deadly virus, and we must remember the lessons that we learned about solidarity, persistence, and compassion for one another. So tonight, let us remember those that we have lost, honor those who are still with us, and commit ourselves to fighting back against COVID-19 and HIV and AIDS. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember-elect Ward. It is now my pleasure to introduce San Diego County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher.
Hello, everyone. Supervisor Nathan Fletcher here. I want to extend my sincerest appreciation to Executive Director Alberto Cortez, the staff, the volunteers, everyone at Mama's Kitchen for everything you have done for San Diegans living with HIV or AIDS for the past 3 decades. We know with the subject like HIV, AIDS, that education and resources are the key. The San Diego County Board of Supervisors understand that more than ever. We recently approved nearly $10 million in funding for 7 full-time positions that will focus on engagement, prevention, testing, and treatment. We share in the responsibility to care for those who have been impacted by this virus, and we will do more. Thank you, Mama's Kitchen, for all that you have done and will do to help support those with HIV/AIDS in San Diego County. We salute you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fletcher. It is now my pleasure to introduce San Diego City Council President Georgette Gomez.
Hi, I'm Georgette Gomez, Council President for the City of San Diego and Representative for District 9. I'm happy to be with you for the 29th Annual Tree of Life ceremony in honor of World AIDS Day. Today, we recognize and remember those affected by AIDS and the efforts made to end the epidemic. 2020 has been a very difficult year for all of us, but we can get through this by reaching out and taking care of each other. This year, the theme is global solidarity, shared responsibility. And I want to thank a special group of people who have been really doing the work. For the past 30 years, Mama's Kitchen has been committed to the purpose of providing nutrition support for San Diegans who are at the risk of malnutrition due to critical illness. During the pandemic, they have done even more and increased the number of meals served to the people that they've been helping. What the staff, board members, and volunteers do is true compassion for one's neighbor and a wonderful example of taking care of each other. Thank you, Mama's Kitchen, for serving our community for the past 30 years.
It is now my pleasure to introduce San Diego City Council member, Dr. Jennifer Campbell.
Thank you, Alberto. Today is World AIDS Day, and also the day that we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the founding of Mama's Kitchen, which began in 1990 to bring nourishment to AIDS patients who needed help. The theme for today is global solidarity, global responsibility. These themes have never been so appropriate as they are now, as the pandemic of the COVID-19 virus reminds us that our entire planet and all its people are interconnected. Mama's Kitchen has evolved into serving meals to all in our region who are so ill that they need help to have nutrition so that they can heal. Whether it's AIDS, cancer, COVID, or other illnesses that they are fighting, Mama's Kitchen is always there. This holiday season, we are thankful for Alberto Cortez, Executive Director of Mama's Kitchen, and all the staff and all the volunteers. Thank you so much for your kindness and good work.
Thank you, Councilmember Campbell. It is now my pleasure to introduce Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepp.
Thank you, Alberto, for that introduction. It is an honor to share a message of hope this evening during the 29th annual Tree of Life ceremony in honor of World AIDS Day. This year, the pandemic has made us reflect on every aspect of our daily lives as we normalize wearing masks and practicing social distancing. Since its inception, Mama's Kitchen has commemorated World AIDS Day as a way for all of us to show our support for people living with HIV. The pandemic has exacerbated many conditions that plague our community. One such condition is food insecurity. In addition, the pandemic has disproportionately impacted Black and Brown communities. Today, HIV also disproportionately affects people of color. In 2018, 42% of all new HIV diagnoses in the nation were among Black people and 27% were among Latinos. According to the San Diego County Health and Human Services Agency, there are over 18,000 people living with HIV in the county and roughly 500 new cases diagnosed each year. We are grateful for the staff and volunteers at Mama's Kitchen that tackle food insecurity by supporting the needs of people living with HIV. People who deserve to be treated as human beings, equitably and with dignity. This is our reasonable service to humanity. This is our shared dream for global solidarity and shared responsibility. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your virtual celebration.
Thank you, Councilmember Montgomery Stepp. It is now my pleasure to introduce San Diego City Council member Chris Cate.
Thank you, Alberto. Hi, I'm Councilmember Chris Cate. While we can't gather in person to commemorate Mama's Kitchen's 29th annual Tree of Life ceremony due to the pandemic, we can still participate safely with our families at home. World AIDS Day is an opportunity for all of us to unite in the fight against HIV, to show support for people living with HIV, and to commemorate those who have died from an AIDS-related illness. More than 1.2 million Americans are living with HIV. Locally, there are 18,000 San Diegans with HIV. Thanks to the incredible organizations like Mama's Kitchen, our friends and neighbors living with HIV have the needed resources and services to fight this lifelong battle. Mama's Kitchen is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preparing and delivering nutritious meals for our neighbors struggling with AIDS who are too sick to shop and cook for themselves. Together, I know we can eradicate AIDS by 2030. Until then, let's ensure our friends and loved ones living with AIDS have the resources and support they need. Volunteer, make a donation, and support Mama's Kitchen.
I truly wish you could all be here with me at Village Hillcrest tonight. Each year, we light the tree as a symbol of hope and remembrance. Thank you to everyone who has already dedicated an ornament, which you see hanging here on the tree. These ornaments celebrate loved ones and bring messages of hope. You can still dedicate an ornament throughout the month of December. And as a reminder, you can visit the tree throughout the month of December. Just please do it in a safe way. Social distancing, mask wearing. Now, please join me in the countdown for the lighting of the tree. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Beautiful, just beautiful. Before we move on with the rest of the program, I want to invite all of you to gather in preparation for your own homemade candle vigil. We will be lighting the candles momentarily. But first, we have the great honor and privilege to join efforts in commemorating World AIDS Day with the San Diego County Office of HIV, STD, and Hepatitis Branch of Public Health Services. It is my pleasure to introduce Patrick Loza, Chief of the HIV County HIV, STD, and Hepatitis Branch of Public Health Services.
Hello, and thank you for being here. Let me start by acknowledging what a difficult time this is for us, our region, and the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has upended our lives, and many of us recently completed our Thanksgiving holiday without our extended families, without our extended friends, in order to prevent transmission. The Tree of Life ceremony is being held this year in virtual rather than physical space, again, to help prevent transmission. We find ourselves in the 40th year of the HIV pandemic, and today, on World AIDS Day, we honor the memories of all those we have lost, people we loved, people we laughed with, people who could sing or play the violin or make the best lasagna we've ever eaten. We can best honor their memories by defying despair, because we have a lot to be hopeful for. 4 years ago, the County of San Diego adopted the Getting to Zero initiative, recognizing that ending the HIV epidemic was possible. And in those past 4 years, we have reduced new HIV diagnoses by 27%. to the lowest level we've seen since 1984 at the beginning of the pandemic. We now know that people living with HIV who are virally suppressed cannot transmit HIV sexually to anyone. And here in the county of San Diego, every person living with HIV has access to high quality care and treatment without regard to their ability to pay, without regard to their insurance status. And thanks to the tireless work of advocates, the same is also true now for PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is up to 99% effective in preventing HIV acquisition in those who are HIV negative. Again, everyone who needs PrEP has access to it without regard to their ability to pay and without regard to their insurance status. The United States recently adopted the Ending the HIV Epidemic initiative, setting us on a goal to reduce new HIV infections by 75% by 2025 and 90% by 2030. Because of that initiative, the County of San Diego is now receiving an additional $3 million per year for our testing, treatment, and prevention efforts. So there's a lot to be hopeful for. In the meantime, we need to support each other. We need to stay safe for ourselves and for our communities. Thank you for your attention. Please be safe.
Thank you, Patrick. Now it gives me great pleasure to lead you in a vigil candle lighting. Please join me at home in lighting your own candle of any kind. These candles, soon to be lit, are a reminder of those that are no longer with us. These flames, bright and full of life, bring memories, joy, and peace. Please light your candles.
We will now pause for a moment of silence to remember and honor the loved ones we have lost.
Each year for the last 29 years, the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus has graced us with their talented voices and lifted our spirits by singing holiday classics. As a cherished part of our Tree of Life celebration, the chorus brings us some of their favorite holiday performances from recent years. While we enjoy their wonderful gift of song, please share your remembrances and messages of love and hope in the comments.
As we sing that again, if you know that, or you want to sing Silent Night, why don't we just all do a little singing together before we leave this auditorium? Peace, peace, peace on earth and goodwill to all. This is a time for joy. For love, now let us all sing together. Now let us all sing of peace, peace. One more time. How about no music? Silent night or peace? Peace on earth and goodness will to all. This is the time of hope and joy. This is the time for love. Now let us all sing together of peace, peace on
Thank you so very much, Artistic Director R.C. House and Executive Director Jeffrey Hine, and my fellow singers of the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus. We have a few more musical treats for you this evening, including a performance from our own very talented Mama's Kitchen volunteer and opera singer, DeAndre Simmons. It is my great pleasure to introduce DeAndre.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletides gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Thank you, DeAndre. That was incredible. The Tree of Life has had a home here at Village Hillcrest for close to 3 decades, and I would like to once again thank John Cribbs and his entire team with Village Hillcrest for all your help and support over the many years. Thank you to the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus and to our very talented DeAndre Simmons for your performances. Your presence tonight is a significant symbol of support for our clients and thousands of others affected by HIV/AIDS. We ask you to join us, reminding our neighbors and friends that AIDS is not over. Together, united as a community, we can make a difference until we can find a cure. Thank you again to all of you for your many gifts to Mama's Kitchen. World AIDS Day falls on Giving Tuesday this year, a day dedicated to bringing awareness and support for nonprofits and causes community-wide. So it must be said that we are grateful for your gifts and your support. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in this wonderful evening of inspiration. Now it is a pleasure to have the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus closing the evening for one last song. Thank you.
I'm dreaming of a